The workflow diagram looks okay. The only thing that I disagree with is actually the client sales rep. I think here is actually part of your process, and even though they're external to your company, I think they should be in a circle, meaning they're internal to the whole process, because the process can't actually complete without their action. Okay, on this first page, eEPC, notice how you've got an XOR at this point here, meaning that only one path can be followed, but here you've got an OR. Now, an OR would actually work here, but ideally you should match these two things to indicate here there is only one path that you can use to get to that point, which is what this thing says here. Now, another issue is your symbols that you've used here are symbols for what's called position. And this means that you're assigning this check stocks here to only a specific packer, only one specific packer in the whole organization. And I think you mean this could be any packer. And to do that, you need to use the symbol that has a dotted line across this. This is something I actually pointed out to people in class. All right, so that's referred to as either person type or position type. Now, scrolling down here, because I particularly want to look at this. All right, you got for packer here. Notice that you've got two instances of packing things right next to one another. And even though you'd say, well, this only happens some of the time, that's all right. The logic for when that happens could occur here. So really, these two tasks here, or processes as they're referred to in this diagram, are really one thing. Okay, so you shouldn't divide them up like that unnecessarily. And of course, when they go to pack the order, there will be things that are out of stock, and there may be things that are in stock, but that can be taken care of all at once. Okay, the implication of this is they sort of do one task, then check the stocks, then put it aside, and then later on pack it. And that's not what happens at all. You know, they'd be checking stocks and packing at the same time. Now, the other thing that would happen is in the case of back orders, you might have this as being an OR, meaning some of the things get shipped, so the in-stock things go ahead and get shipped, but the things that are out of stock are just left. All right, so both these paths, I suppose, are possible. Now, one thing that you've haven't quite managed to capture is that there's two kinds of deliveries that actually occur. There's deliveries that go from a warehouse to the agent or from a warehouse to another warehouse. And then there's deliveries that go from the agent to the customer. All right, and you haven't quite dealt with that okay, or satisfactorily. So the dispatcher provides the routing information, which may actually involve in going to several different locations, warehouses actually. But that aside, there should be somewhere in this area here a delivery that's a delivery to agents or to other warehouses. And indeed, sometimes there should even be a loop that comes back and in that area as well, until it finally gets to an agent. Now, when it gets to when the agent receives it, then you'd have this. You don't have to have this new old. You could have the deliver order, and here it's deliver order to customer. Where up in here, and I haven't drawn in the whole bit for you, you'd have a task that's deliver order to warehouse or agent. All right, because they're different kind of deliveries. And it's actually the agent that makes the delivery to the customer. All right, and you'd have these possible outcomes. Now, I'd suggest that, again, because you've got the driver doing the delivery to the customer here, there's another issue. If you see, let's see. We could have deliver order to, it's got to be deliver order to warehouse has got to occur up in here. But if this is performed by the agent, which is deliver order to customer, then this failure notice would actually be prepared and delivered right in here. Of course, if there isn't a failure, it's not actually done, but that doesn't matter because you just got the order delivered. Now when the order is delivered, that's when you need to do your costs, and so you haven't dealt with the costs issue that should occur here. All right, not delivered, of course you get advice, and it may be to redeliver. All right, in fact I've got to turn off my drawings now to scroll down a bit. Okay, so here we have returning the goods, and that's where it's going to go right back to the well, you do routing information, that's right, and that's where the same kind of delivery process occurs in here, which is one of delivering to a warehouse. All right, that's you returning the goods. And then you've got the attempt delivery again, which of course is going to be deliver order to customer. All right, which takes you down through all of this path again. And notice you've got your client sales rep here actually performing an action, and you even use the symbol of it being internal. And I mentioned that in your workflow diagram. Your naming of events and processes seems to be okay.